22-24 would have placed him last year, so pretty good way to round it out if you ask me. Our next event on the track, as you can see, looks a lot different than the 200. That's because it is. It is 8 laps instead of 1. The girls 1,600 meters. And we've got a lot of heats coming your way. A total of 20 sections of this one event. In around 15 minutes, we'll be getting things started on the infield as well. So this is where the meet is really going to start to get hectic. We'll get the chance to hear from a couple of our field event competitors as well as relay runners from Archbishop Carroll in a minute. But in the meantime, let's watch this battle for position. Lauren Kosek of Wellsboro area is out on the lead. And while she takes us into our second lap, allow me to say hello to our live audience on YouTube. Yes, we appreciate you joining us for our free live preview of the 2026 Virginia Showcase. Carson Gambaro live with you at the Sports Center. We'll be sticking with you for at least another hour before the rest of the broadcast continues on FloTrack and Mile Split as we continue in this race. Around a 5-meter gap, if not slightly larger, and a very quick first 400 of 71. I mean, hey, a lot of these girls that are in these sections of 1600s might be looking for their first sub 5 miles, whether or not it come today or down the line. So that's the kind of mindset that you have to come here with, going out and attacking it. So Kosek, the junior from PA, followed now by the sophomore from Glen Allen, Avery Carlson, wearing hip number 7, trying to move up at the 600-meter mark. They're both followed by Quinn Jackson, the freshman of South Lakes, coming down from Reston, Virginia. Of course, South Lakes there scheduled to have the defending mile invitational champion Caroline Elliott come back to defend this evening. You can imagine she's played a huge role in Jackson's development as a young distance runner. So it's the two Virginians from Glen Allen and South Lakes with their eyes on the Keystoner. Lauren Kosek of Wellsboro area going to take us to our halfway split just beyond 2:30, so not too far out of 5-minute pace, as there's the move by Carlson. Avery Carlson into the lead now. Looking to see what she could need to set a personal record in this first of 20 1,600-meter heats. She's already run 5:20 this season, but back in outdoors, she ran 5:10. So she's definitely going after it. She placed 11th indoors in the Class 6 state championships, and she's really going for a big-time stretch here. Now less than 3 laps to go. It's still Carlson, then Kosek, and now we've got a 2-way battle for third. For those of you that like to follow along with all the live results, again, there's going to be a lot of athletes filtering into these heats. Blue Ridge Timing has got all the coverage for you to check out the rolling and compiled standings. Camille Lichtenstein of C.G. Woodson, Carter G. Woodson, she's up into the number 3 spot as we head into the final 2 laps. That gap has not diminished just yet. Avery Carlson trying to put this thing away, but Lichtenstein, we talked about her on the previous lap. She made that big move past Jackson and has her sights on Kosek. And you almost get the sense that Lauren Kosek in second is feeling that pressure from behind now. The gap is starting to close back. Can the sophomore Avery Carlson hold on? She's got one more lap to get to that line first. All of these young ladies chasing PRs. Our first bell of the 2026 VA Showcase rings for Avery Carlson from Glen Allen, Virginia. But here comes Camille Lichtenstein from Woodson. A 3-way battle now for second, and a new number 2 runner now about to take the lead. That is Molly Barber of Myers Park. She's awake in another gear by Carlson, though this race is not over. And Kosek, our early leader, still in third. There's the next gear by the senior from Myers Park. Molly Barber's going to take it in a 5:03 high. A great close for Molly Barber, 5:04.04 official. We hadn't even mentioned her until the very last lap, but the Charlotte native came through and it mattered most. That was her first 1600 of the season, coming off a cross-country campaign where she was 4th at her state meet. Kosek's pretty hype about her time, 5:06.38 for 3rd. Carlson with a PR for 2nd. But for Molly Barber, the fastest we've seen her go indoors is a 5:17 over the full mile here last year. She only ran 1 mile in her junior year, and it was a 5:13. So a great, great result for her. She has broken, keep in mind, in the full mile, the 5-minute barrier, all the way back when she was a freshman in 2023. So to know that she can at least get back in that right direction has to feel so confidence boosting. And especially with the kick, that race was not at all a positive split. When you negative split a race and reapproach your PR, that tells you that you're going somewhere good. All right, heat number 2 of 20 in the girls' 1,600-meter run. You just look at the volume of these fields, 17 athletes having to vie for position off of that double waterfall, and taking the early lead will be the Falcon of Briar Woods, Ellie Greenfield. That is Ellis Greenfield on the 2nd of 8 laps now, trying to control this 3-way battle for the pole position just ahead of Matea Moreno, the stallion of South County, who's tucked back in for the time being, slotting up single file just now ahead of Rosie Farrell of Collegiate. So Greenfield, then Moreno, then Farrell through 400 meters just beneath 73 this time, so slightly off pace from the first section. We're expected to see the crop of athletes get progressively slower by seedings, but the opportunity remains for each and every one of them to go after PRs. There's our first big move of the race. The girl that was in 2nd a lap ago is now in 1st, Matea Moreno, the senior from South County. It's still she, then Greenfield of Briar Woods, and then Collegiate's Rosie Farrell through 600 meters, now followed in 4th by Lila Gooch of Green Level. Make that Josephine Camas of Severna Park. She's trying to move her way up there. You see in the navy blue, hip number 7. She's now into 3rd, Camas, but she's got some followers up that back straightaway, including Claire Zimmerman of Lake Norman. She's now into the top 5. She's got a teammate also vying for the win in the Invitational Mile later, Casey Dingman, the future Virginia Tech Hokie, who was in this race last year. Should be a good one for sure. Again, that girls' Invitational Mile will be part of our invitational window here on day 1 of the BA Showcase at 5:45 with our top 3 sections. We, of course, say hello to all of our visitors anticipating those heats, but in the meantime, we've got a 6-way battle. Who needs invitational sections when you got races this good? It is now Josephine Camas of Severna Park, but here comes our 2nd to 3rd lap leader back on the outside, Matea Moreno. Our early leader, Ellis Greenfield, is still hanging tough in the top 4, but she's just been passed by the Lake Norman resident. That, of course, is Claire Zimmerman, the sophomore. She's tucked very maturely into 3rd, trying to progressively move her way up, make each step a step forward. But she's not the only one looking to implement that strategy. Watch out on her outside for the girl wearing hip number 16 there. That's Claire Anderson of James W. Robinson. She's just a freshman, so a couple of youngsters trying to catch the junior from Savannah Park into her final 400. Coming over from Savannah Park, Maryland, of course. How will she fare? Can Zimmerman catch her? It's about a 10 to 12 meter gap right now, so no guarantees as to any hawk downs, but we'll see. Josephine Camas, this is her first time running a 1600 this season. She ran 5:14 back in outdoors and even placed 5th in the 3200 meters at the Maryland Public School State Championships. So she's got the strength to hold it up, but here comes the freshman. Trying to reel her in from Robinson, Claire Anderson. She's overtaken the sophomore from Lake Norman, Claire Zimmerman, who's in 3rd. But it is now Josephine Camas entering her final 100 meters. Again, going after that 5:14 personal record over 16. That placed her 4th in the Anne Arundel County Championships. That was all the way in May, and this is January. This is Josephine Camas in 5:07. What a run. So after the second heat of the girls' 1600 meters, again, we've got 18 more sections, so definitely make sure you stick with us on that front. But on another front, we have got the infield events about to get underway as well, as we're nearing the 11 o'clock hour, during our first full hour of coverage on what is expected to be around a 40-hour weekend for us here at MileSplit and FloTrack. Carson Gambaro, happy to pivot you to the infield. Huge courtesy of our production crew, Cruz Sanchez and company, all of our camera operators. We've got our first of 6 top-seeded prelims coming your way. Again, all prelims in the girls' 55 hurdles are eligible to qualify for tomorrow's 60-meter dash final, but we're going to cover the top 6 as they feature some of the top-seeded athletes overall. The top athletes you'll typically see draw lane number 4 in ascending order, so our top seed overall is expected to be in our 3rd heat, Cassidy Hopkins. She's our U.S. number 1 at 7.60. Our 3rd heat of the 1600 is getting underway. Again, we're going to keep our eyes peeled for that as it happens off screen, but our hurdlers getting a few chances to practice their starts. And it's cool because you'll see the distance runners come by on this turn. They formed a perfect 4-lane window. In fact, nearly 5-lane windows. You can see the hurdlers backing up. Just enough space for our distance runners to operate. So in around a couple of minutes, we should get underway, but we've got Olivia Wallace of Lake Braddock. She'll be in lane number 1. Jasmine Gaines of Nansemond River in lane number 2. Sanijah Allen of Jordan in lane number 3. Lane number 4, Naomi Booker. She'll be the top girl to watch in this heat. From Tomball, Texas, they call her Peach. She's the Texas State champion over 300-meter hurdles and a future Texas A&M Aggie. Definitely with a good chance to qualify. The athletes now having to bring their blocks out and set them in the proper position, so we should be getting going soon. Looks like our current leader in heat number 3 is Cameron Hinson of Cuthbertson, for those of you looking to keep tabs with what's happening in the 16. But back to our first heat, Adrienne Bowden of Kennett. She'll be in lane number 5. Of course, Kennett also coming over from Pennsylvania out of District 1. They've always churned out some good hurdlers through recent years. You've got Bowden in 5. You've got London King of Page in 6. Kiara Davis of St. Mark's in 7, and then Cheyenne Gao of Bayside, home of 500-meter national record holder Andrew Salvadon. She is in lane number 8. So a lot of practice starts here for our hurdlers. As you can see, our distance runners currently about to take their 800-meter split. Our leader right now in the 1,600 meters coming off of that bend is Helena Kelly of Georgetown Visitation Prep. She's got her teammate in this, Sabrina Brennan, in the top 3, and in between them looks to be the stallion of South County, Kendall Williams. So some good representation from the DMV area out front. And keep in mind that the Georgetown Visitation Prep teammates have another very talented teammate in 8-time DC state champion Abigail Anstedt to come in the distance races as well this weekend. So perhaps looking for a tone setter is Helena Kelly. Again, we got a good preview of the hurdles, and we will return there for the top 6 sections. But in the meantime, we're going to follow these final 3 laps of the 1,600. They just got called to their marks, so if we could direct your attention back to the hurdles. Again, first of 6 seeded prelims looking to make tomorrow's invitational 60-meter hurdles final. Wallace, Gaines, Allen, Booker, Bowden, King, Davis, and Gao. It's a clean start. Great reaction by Naomi Booker, the future Texas A&M Aggie. Bringing the junior from Kennett, Pennsylvania, Adrienne Bowden with her. To the line goes Booker. Naomi Booker. I do not think there are big cues involved in this race, but Booker with a great way to start. I got the chance to see she and her future teammate, Andrew Jones, yesterday as she goes 7:97. That'll be one of the fastest times in the country over 55 hurdles. It's funny, the Texans usually run 60-meter hurdles, as they did last week at the Texas Indoor State Championships. So counting their steps is definitely different over 55. The finish may come up a bit quicker on them, but Bowden responded very nicely, and she is now tied for U.S. number 8. Booden responded well also, going 8:09. She'll be tied for U.S. number 11 now. But again, a huge result for the future Aggie, Naomi Booker. Naomi Peach Booker, in all likelihood, going to book her ticket to tomorrow's final as we move forward to heat number 2. In this section, we've got Lacey Smith of James River Midlothian, Amber Williams of Dudley, Simone Ellis of Nansemond River, Latorian Friedman of Gahanna Lincoln out of Ohio. She'll be in 4. Aaliyah Turpin, had I mentioned, she was the previous standalone U.S. number 8 at 7:97. The Delaware State champion is in lane number 5. Lane 6, Eliana Bradner of Heritage Lynchburg. Lane 7, Carrie Campbell of Metrolina Christian, and Kara Harris of Clover Hill in 8. There it goes, the Delaware State champ, Aaliyah Turpin, the senior of Smyrna, leaning at the line. They cross at the line just before the numbers, and Turpin does so in 8 seconds flat. That'll be second fastest overall with 4 heats to go. Campbell and Ellis and Williams all in the 8.4s range. Keep in mind it's the top 8 that qualify, and so our current bubble is Eliana Bradner of Heritage Lynchburg's 8.61. She was 5th in that second heat right now, so unlikely that she'll hold on given the high volume of speedy hurdlers to come. Ultimately, our third heat was won by Sophia Finland of Lake Braddock in that girls 1,600 meters for those following along. River Smith of Hanover, and then Helena Kelly of Georgetown Visitation. Section number 3 of the girls 55-meter hurdles prelims. You see some very big names here. I mentioned our first heat winner and current fastest qualifier, Naomi Booker of Tomball. Her future teammate bound for Texas A&M will be in this heat. Watch out for lane number 3, Deasia Duncan of Bloomfield, Connecticut. You've got Zariah Holt of Bradford Prep. We saw her sister Zoe run earlier in the 200, and we'll certainly look to see her back for the 55. Rhea Stock-Hurd of Walls out of DC. She'll be on the inside, completing the right half of this lineup for your current perspective. And the rest in lanes 5 through 8, Audrina Chu of Nansemond River, Jalea Hunter of Mallard Creek, Ebony Turner of St. Benedict's Prep, and then Gianna Lee of Northern Guilford. And in case I did not explicitly mention, you saw her name on the start list moments ago, it's Cassidy Hopkins of Bullis School, the fastest 55 hurdler in the nation, 7.60 to win the U.S. Marine Corps Holiday Classic. She's been such a consistent hurdler rising up through the ranks, and though she may have been in the shadow in a few races of Taylor Cox, of course, coming national runner-up back in the indoor season. She finished runner-up to our VA Showcase reigning champion numerous times last year, but it is Cassidy's time to shine. She's in the spotlight. She's already secured her collegiate commitment to UCLA. She will look to punch her ticket to the final tomorrow, to potentially go after some more historic marks in some of her final races as a Bullis Bulldog. Again, Heat 3 of the girls' 55 hurdles seeded prelims. Stock-Hurd, Holt, Duncan, who's a multi-time Connecticut state champion. She did the double over the 110 and 300 meter hurdles, so she carries plenty of versatility. She's also a multi-event specialist, a New Balance All-American in the heptathlon, so she can do it all. Hopkins, I got to witness her bolster her 400 meter hurdling abilities. She got down below 60 seconds at the East Coast Outdoor Showcase. Audrina Chu, the senior of Nansemond River, she'll be dangerous, one to the outside in 6. Chu currently ranked number 11 now, as she was passed in the early rankings by Naomi Booker. But she's run 8:09 this season to win the Liberty Christmas Invitational, the girl you see in 5. Duncan's run 8:14, but Hopkins, the national leader, is dead center in 4. Early start by Chu, but they let her go. Hopkins catching her quickly, and Cassidy Hopkins will win the 3rd section of the girls' 55 hurdles. She'll go 7.83 for the victory. Could have either just been a slow reaction by Hopkins or a quick reaction by Chu. Either way, no false start. Chu with an 8.16 will take second over Duncan in 8.36 for the future Aggie. With the future UCLA Bruin, Cassidy Hopkins comfortably ahead on the current standings, but with plenty more fast hurdlers to come in these next 3 sections. And keep in mind, once we have our top 8 from these 3, that will not officially decide who makes those finals, because there are still going to be the unseeded prelims wherein anybody can come through with a bombshell performance. Our 4th of 6 seeded sections is getting an opportunity to practice its starts. Again, great shots by our entire camera crew here at the Virginia Beach Sports Center. One of our favorite places to be here on FloTrack and Mile Split. If you are watching with us right now on the live YouTube preview, let us know from where you're watching, what athletes you're looking forward to, and perhaps some predictions, if you have any, for the invitational window. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Chime in with us. Again, YouTube live preview, free for viewing for the next 30 and change minutes before we conclude the broadcast for the remainder of day 1 live on Mile Split and FloTrack. Let's return to the starting line on the infield. We've got Sydney Taylor of Bishop McNamara, Amelia Cole of Lake Braddock, Farah Anderson of Marvin Ridge. We got Shakayla Lavender, the 6-time Virginia State champion from Oster Smith. She'll be in lane number 4. Kaylee Payne of Hugh M. Cummings, she'll be in lane number 6. From Malola H. Yoku from Springbrook, and then Christina Scott Ramos of Jordan. This is going to be a tight race. In lane number 2, Amelia Cole looking well from Lake Braddock. Right there with her was Farah Anderson of Marvin Ridge, but Cole takes it by 7/100 to Anderson to Payne. 8:12, 8:19, and 8:27. That'll currently slot them overall into 4. Then make that. Again, they've yet to load in some of the earlier results into the compiled standings, but either way, they are in qualifying positions right now. We will confirm once again what our bubble time is once it's updated for these girls' 55-meter hurdles as they're waiting to exit at the infield with all these distance runners. Heat number 4, the girls' 1600 is on the track, and currently a pretty tight battle for the lead, so we'll see what happens there off camera as they head into their final 400. Again, all these events happening at once. We've got 2 more seeded prelims of the girls' 55 hurdles before we return to the exterior. So our girls 1600 heat 4 is on its bell lap, and we are on our penultimate seeded heat of girls 55 hurdles. Now time to introduce the start lists. Honesty Trollinger of UM Cummings, she'll be in 1. Michaela Andrade of Monacan in 2. Aaliyah Wade of Chapel Hill in 3. Deanna Cotton, she'll be one to watch from UM Cummings. She's a 16-time North Carolina state champion and 3-time national champion. The future South Carolina Gamecock with a 794 60-meter hurdles. En route personal best over 55. We'll see how she goes, as well as Selah Edwards, Nyla Boyd, Layla Smith, and Tristan Griffin. It's going to be close as they come over these final few barriers. Wade got a good start from Chapel Hill, and leading at the line, it's Selah Edwards of Southeast Raleigh. So a little reversal of fortunes for the Carolinians. Carolina state champ has to settle for 3rd. Deanna Cotton, keep in mind, she is also doing the long and triple jump this weekend, so even if the hurdles didn't go her way, she's got other opportunities to succeed. But Selah Edwards of Southeast Raleigh with a great run. She'll definitely give herself a chance to qualify with an 8:08. Aaliyah Wade on the outside looking in, but still with a good run of 8:22. That gun you just heard was fired for the 5th heat, but Selah Edwards, the future Harvard Crimson, just came within a 10th of her personal best of 8 flat. She's already one of the top hurdlers in the nation. She'll look to carry that forward to tomorrow's final as we've got one more section left in the girls' 55 hurdle seeded prelims. And before we introduce them, we'd like to say hello to some of our attendees on the live YouTube feed. We've got some Bullis fans in the house watching from Chesterfield, Virginia, from Washington, D.C. We got some Marvin Ridge and Cuthbertson fans hailing from Charlotte, Midlothian, Virginia, rooting for Bella Musa and Jaden Gilchrist. And Shanitra Jackson watching from nearby Norfolk. We've even got some Jamaica College fans in the house. So everybody's here to watch the VA showcase. And the stars are on the line in heat number 6. Mackenzie Barbie of Grimsley, Simone Arrington of Southern School of Energy, Cheyenne Mayo of Phoebus, Destiny Coleman, the U.S. number 2 from Woodlawn. She'll be in 4. Soleil Russell, the younger sister of the Olympic champ Masai Russell, who's gotten her PR down to 791. She'll be in 5. Kai Wood of St. James in 6. Nari Willis of Hillside in 7. And Addison Finley of Northwood in 8. In the 6th and final seeded prelim of the girls' 55 hurdles. All about time to make that 60 final. Even reaction in the middle, but now Coleman from Woodlawn starting to pull away. Russell trying to latch on as they come to the line. 7:79 for Destiny Coleman. She'll be the fastest qualifier as the prelims conclude. Russell, another sub-8 for the junior from Bullis. 7:97 for Soleil. But Destiny Coleman the senior from Woodlawn, has put herself out there to be caught. Of course, Hopkins, the national leader, ran 7:83, so this is going to be a showdown. Coleman, the 4-time Maryland State champion and reigning Nike Indoor Nationals runner-up, has run 7:72 for her season best and even a 7:66 personal best. So that will conclude our seeded prelims for the girls 55 hurdles. A bunch more happening after this. Looking at our top 8 as we currently stand, Deanna Cotton, she is on the bubble, so she still can buy herself another chance at tomorrow's finals, although we're not exactly considering some earlier prelims results. Live timers from Blue Ridge Timing still factoring those in, so it's unlikely that Cotton will advance. But again, Destiny Coleman, the big story as we take a brief breather. We'll be right back and return to the 1600 as we continue. Stick with us here at the BA Showcase. All right, we took a brief break from the oval, but we are back here at the Virginia Showcase. Girls 1,600 meters. Heat number 5 is on the track right now on this facility that less than a year ago hosted the NCAA Indoor Championships. We got Kate Spain of Kellum leading us into our bell lap already. So though we got to miss most of the race, we're going to get to see the most important part. Let's see if Spain can hold it up. She's showing some great speed and strides into this final backstretch. And the junior is only accelerating from here, coming from nearby Virginia Beach. A hometown resident looking to hold it up. Let's see if she can hold off our latest charger. Here comes Morgan Thompson of Caesar Rodney off the turn. Into second place she comes. A great run for the sophomore, but it'll be the junior from Kellum to hold on. 5:14 for Morgan Thompson for second. Kate Spain first, and officially 5:14.82. So again, our heat winners thus far in the girls 1,600 meters. Molly Barber, our overall leader at 5:04.04. Josephine Kamas of Severna Park in 5:07.39. And then Sophia Finland of Lake Braddock in heat 3, 5:10.77. And then Maggie Miltenberg of Cardinal Gibbons in 5:14.61. And an interesting note about Maggie Miltenberg, who won our 4th section. She is the daughter of UNC distance coach Chris Miltenberg. Coach Milt, his daughter, as a freshman, won her heat at the BA Showcase. So some very impressive future stars for sure as we turn the page now to heat number 6. Seeing if we can get some more results in those mid-15-10s, 5-10s. Let's see. So far, we got an early aggressor donning that hit number 16 on the inside group. That's Kayleen Bustos of Green Level. We've seen a couple of her teammates. None have come away with wins just yet. Could she be the first? Let's keep our eyes on that, as well as our current second place runner in white, Juliet Lord of James W. Robinson. She's leading the chase group, but that's looking like about all they'll amount to at this point in terms of the way the race currently looks. See, there could be many changes in a race spanning 8 laps of the track, so by no means has it been decided, but if one thing is for certain, it is that the junior from Green Level, Kayleen Bustos, is going for a time trial. Now trying to move her way into second, you see Peyton Walker of Deep Run on the outside shoulder of Lord of Robinson as we enter our third lap. All 3 of our top runners in frame. They're working together to get back at Bustos, who may have gone a bit too hard for her liking, trying to save some gears for the later moves. See what she's got left. Coming up to our 600-meter split, 3 laps of 8, just beneath 155, so averaging around 38 per lap right now. See where we lie at 800 to give us a clearer picture of what's possible. Also now into the top 4 wearing hip number 5 is Sophie Armstrong of Asheville, yet another athlete with a teammate to watch in the Invitational Mile. That'll be Sophie Alexander, who won the 2-mile last year. A future Virginia Tech Hokie. But it is still our early to present leader, Kayleen Bustos from Green Level, trying to hold the lead in the back half. 2:39 through 800, so still averaging sub 5:20 pace, but here come the South Lake Seahawks into the mix. Wearing hip 13, that's Sarah Gantawala, and hip 17, Olivia Levy. Man, just look at all these move changes. It's now Asheville's Armstrong heading into the final 3 laps, but here comes Levy on the outside. Olivia Levy, the sophomore from South Lake, she takes the lead into the final 6. Putting our heads on swivels right here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 girls all in that top group, and the chasers are not too far off either. I've got 13 girls within a 30-meter radar of one another. So this is anyone's race at this point. But the South Lakes teammates, they're right where they want to be right now in positions 1 and 2. If they want to, they can form a wall. Gantawala, you see her in second. If she senses pressure coming on the outside, as she's doing right now, you can move outside to prevent any easy passes. A little look over left shoulder for our leader, Olivia Levy. The chasers just trying to stay close and save their kicks. Again, our early leader, we foreshadowed the possibility of her doing such a move. She is still in the mix. Kayleen Bustos running in 5th place right now, just on the inside of Peyton Walker of Deep Run. Now making the move into 3rd is Juliet Lord of James W. Robinson. She's been in the mix the whole race, as has Sophie Armstrong. But they're all going to have to give it their very best as the South Lakes teammates stretch it out. Sarah Gantawala. Look at this closing speed by the young junior from South Lakes. Her sophomore teammate holding on second for the time being. But there ain't nobody catching Gantawala. She was part of the U.S. leading 4x8 after all, that ran 9:22.69 at the Ocean Breeze Freedom Games, and repping South Lakes in style. Caroline Elliott, if you're watching, this could be a tone setter for the mile later for the defending champion and the defending team, South Lakes, and Sarah Gantawala coming through in 5:19 to take heat number 5, make that 6 of the girls 1600. And there's the 1-2, Olivia Levy across the line for second. So you see those times coming across the screen. It was only Gonzalez that got beneath that 5:20 barrier. Olivia Levy, 5:25.11. Kayleen Bustos, our early leader, she still had a pretty impressive kick to get up for third as our 7th of 20 girls 1,600-meter heats gets on the track. 8 laps per usual out of a waterfall start. They're going to stay in their pockets for this first lap. And as we watch their every move on the track, we cannot forget that the Virginia Showcase is a display of excellence in the field events as well, and we're going to be looking forward to watching one particular gentleman amongst many in the boys high jump tonight. Vance Harris, the New Balance Nationals champion from Archbishop Carroll, joins me now. Vance, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying watching these races, of course, getting to chit-chat with you in the early stages of morning. Talk to me about your season and what you've been doing to really get yourself prepared for this Nationals caliber competition.
Just been taking it easy. You know, last season I was real heavy on myself, real heavy on the legs, doing a whole bunch of plyo, overworking myself. So this year I decided to just take it light. Not trying to jump too much, but at least taking care of my body, preserving myself, so after that I can get to that caliber where I feel like I'm comfortable at. And yeah, overall it's just been a pretty good season, start of it. So I'm just looking forward to do something hot today.
Absolutely, and of course you're going to be surrounded by other guys that have come in with those similar aspirations, of course, guys looking to get over 7 feet, something that even for guys that have done it before is rare. So to know that you had that opportunity, something that I know you've been striving for a while, just tell me what it means to be here, part of this atmosphere.
Feels pretty good, you know. I'm just blessed to be in an opportunity like this, jumping amongst a group of people that I know are in the same caliber as myself. So it just feels real good. It makes me feel real good. It just pushes me to do more. It keeps that adrenaline flowing.
Now, there's a few guys, like I mentioned, that have cleared 7 feet before. I don't think there's quite as many guys that have cleared 7 feet as girls that we currently see in our frame of our 7th heat of 1600s. Our current leader wearing hip number 17, that's Sadie Coyle of Tower Hill, but she's being passed by 2 on her outside and 1 on her inside as well. That's another Tower Hill jersey, her teammate Haley Allen. So going back to that team theme that we saw with South Lakes the previous heats, as we got another lead change. Lake Braddock, Samantha Wiest, the senior, the 12th grader with hip number 12. All right, I think after all of that chaos, we can get back to chit-chatting with the high jump national champion, Vance. How does a meet like VA Showcase compare to an atmosphere like Nationals?
It really does go hand in hand. You know, I feel like they're real similar, considering the fact of it's a whole bunch of national high jumpers out here, national athletes out here, so everybody's just coming out here to do the same thing. They really do go hand in hand, and I feel like they are kind of just one and the same.
What was it about Nationals that was really clicking for you on the day that allowed you to go and get that title?
It just felt natural. You know, Franklin Field, it's not like I'm new to it. It's not like I'm, new to it, so it just felt natural to me. It felt like something that I knew I could go out there and compete well, especially going out there at Penn Relays, getting second, first in America. So I was kind of already used to the field, the atmosphere, and the land, so it felt pretty good. Yeah,
and as for the VA Showcase here in Virginia Beach, of course, repping the DMV's got to feel, like a sense of hometown pride, even though Carroll's coming from D.C. and it's a bit of distance away with the travel, but it feels like this is always such a special place for your school, Archbishop Carroll, to compete.
Of course, they've been coming out here years after years after years, just dominating in specific events. Jake competing in the 300, the 4x2, Keenan, Shamar, and all of them going out here just coming to do great things. So I'm looking forward to really seeing what they have. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to see what Austin has coming up. Same with Shamar, because they're going against a talented group. And, yeah, I'm just looking forward to see what the rest of the team does, especially like my teammate Ania Madison, currently triple jumping right now. So I know everybody's going to do some great things.
Oh, yeah. We've still got some action happening on the track in heat number 7, of course. Last we checked, it was Samantha Wiest in the lead, and she's still holding it down for Lake Braddock, but right up there with her now Looks to be Alyssa Fidele of Oscar Smith. In fact, Bryn Barley of Cape Henry Collegiate rocking that hip number 2 with the red rear strip. They've got a little more company. Looks like some more South Lakes blood surging. Charlotte Captain, the sophomore. And then in 4th place, again, we saw her in the lead a few laps ago, Haley Allen, the junior of Tower Hill. They're all slotting up single file, getting ready to take the bell. Vance, I've asked this question to non-distance runners before. What would it take you to get in a race like this?
A race like, shoot, this it might take a lot, you know. Starting off with track, I'm gonna be honest, I was a distance runner, so it's nothing new to me.
Really?
Yeah, I started off with the multi. That's kind of how I got into high jump. I started off with the multi, so you know, I kind of had to run that 1500 a little bit. But for a race like this, shoot, I better be doing nothing else for the rest of the day.
Well, let's see if Haley Lane can make it a done day as she gets around the final turn, representing Tuscarora in Maryland. She came from 5th a lap ago and will streak away for the win in heat number 7, 5:22 for Haley Lane. I bet that was probably the most thrilling part about being a distance runner for you, Vance, back before you became the 6'10" 3/4" high jumper that you are today, right? Just getting to exercise some of that natural speed.
Yeah.
You know, that's playing into that naturality theme that you talked about with performing well at the national stage. You know, when it feels natural, that's when it just feels good.
Of course, you know, it's just, it all clicks, everything just comes together, so it just feels like you've been used to it. It seems like it's something you've been doing all season.
So you talked about your teammate Shamar Gamble, who'll be coming up pretty shortly in the 55 hurdles boys prelims, but you also talked about guys like Keenan Davis, guys like Austin Smith, who will be competing in the longer sprints and relays. Are there any other events or perhaps bold predictions that you'd want to talk about while we're stirring the pot in the early stages of day one? Say as much as you feel the need to.
Watching that interview yesterday with Cole Boone, I'm not gonna lie, I think I got him running something high. I say I probably got him going maybe 319.
219 in the 1K. 219. So you think he is going to get the national record tomorrow in the 1K?
Of course. Just to think, because last year he was sick.
He was,
you know, full game. You know, he was going out there. He dropped something hot. I think this year he's coming confident. Shamar Gamble, my teammate, I think he can go 6 today in the 55. I feel like he can go 6 in the 55 hurdles today. I see him going 6'9". My fellow teammate Jaden Jones, I see him jumping 24. You know, look forward to that. Chase Mitchell, teammate of mine as well. She's gonna drop something crazy. I think she can go 41. And yeah, I think that's most of the predictions I got.
Well, you heard it here first from Vance Harris. Again, we wish you the very best of luck coming up in the high jump later. The North Carolina A&T commit looking to take another excellent stab at the 7 feet mark and overcome plenty of stiff competition as we continue in our distance series. Vance, thanks again for joining us. We'll look to stay in touch with what's happening with you, and we'll see you on the flip.
Right,
thanks
God
again.
Bless. Thank you.
So that was Vance Harris. We'll soon be hearing from his teammate Jaden Jones that he mentioned and predicted would clear the 24-foot barrier in the long jump. We'll bring him on after this section of the 1600. As we've got another early aggressor here, rocking that hip number 7. That is Rebecca Graham of Ocean Lakes. She's taking us out through this opening 400 meters in around a 75, so pretty close to 5 minutes, 1600 pace. Ashley Vasquez Romero of Falls Church in second as the rest of the field gives chase. It's looking like a de facto cross-country race as they get out here on the track. We look to have only a select few prelims of these girls' 55 hurdles left, so we should soon be looking forward to the boys in the 55 hurdles prelims. I know Vance and Jaden, the Archbishop Carroll teammates, are looking forward to watching Shamar Gamble, the transfer from Belleville, Michigan there, but all that is happening amidst our distance window. Through 3 laps of 8 here. It's Elena Gavora. I may have mis-ID'd. Yes, I did. My apologies, but Elena Gavora of Mentor. She's in that white kit, the young freshman out of hip number 7. A nice audacious effort for her. Mentor out of Ohio. So she's looking to make good on this long distance trip down here to the eastern seaboard of the Hampton Roads area. Gavora, 240 high now through that 800-meter split. Looking to see what she could need for a PR as our boys start to move towards the infield. Elena Gavora for the Cardinals. Still holding that lead again. All these athletes looking for personal bests, and Gavora's, now that we've got it on file for you, she has run 5:30.59 this season. So there you go. That's her mark that she's looking to chase after. She only runs indoor, not outdoor track yet, so this is an important opportunity for her. Though it may seem like she's starting to tire, her facial expression is completely relaxed. And so we're going to watch and see what she does as our hurdlers adjust the barriers up to the 39-inch height and move them to the boys' positions. We've got our first lead change of heat number 8 of the 1600, as there goes our 11th hip donor from South Mecklenburg, Riley McNamee. And I was one hip number off for my first two IDs, but it is McNamee on the lead now to the final 400 meters. Right behind her, Isabella Davies of Herndon, Virginia. Again, another Hampton Roads inhabitant right nearby in the mix, but they are not alone at all. So a group of 6 now vying for the lead. Davies ended up taking it up at the latest lap split. I reckon a lot of these girls are in the upper 520s, lower 530s range. So we're in decent shape to get something in that universe. Is now moving up to 3rd to challenge both Jamie Johnson of Panther Creek and Isabel Davies. There's Sophia Brill of Mountain Ridge. Moving up on the outside is the senior. She's got her eyes on the 2 juniors, but they formed a wall down the backstretch as it is now Johnson into the lead for Panther Creek, but can she get the rail? Not quite. It's still Isabel Davies holding it down for Herndon. Brill trying to minimize her distance and slip out when the time is right, but the junior from Panther Creek's got another gear, and it'll be Jamie Johnson to take our 8th section of the girls 1600. Davies 2nd and Brill in 3rd. So our 8th heat of the girls' 1600-meter run is coming to a close. We're getting ready to welcome on our preliminary runners for our top-seeded boys 55 hurlers. And while we do that, we bring in the second half of our Archbishop Carroll guest duo. This is Jaden Jones, a long jumper sprinter. You're doing quite a few events this weekend,
Yes,
Jaden.
sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Carson?
I'm great. Glad to have you. Got to talk to Vance earlier. He obviously had some great high hopes and expectations for you and the guys. I heard you guys are going to be running a 4x2 as well tomorrow
Yes,
as
sir.
part of
Sensational.
the B team, which is crazy because an Archbishop Carroll B team would be an A team at literally every other school.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like to be a part of such a great unit as we watch our first group of hurdlers get ready to go?
Honestly, it's great. We're all a family, so I think that really helps with our chemistry and our handoffs. And we're all brothers, so at the end of the day, we're just going to all try to go out there and run fast.
Looking to do so in this first of 6 seeded prelims. Jarrell Baltimore, Justin Clark, Roderick Orr, Johan Romaldo Smythe has vacated lane number 4, so he's a scratch. More of a sprinter rather than a hurdler from Jamaica. Dakari Curtis of Maury, Trevor Curry, Noah Thornburg, and then Jalen Harris. A lot of clip barriers thus far, but it'll be the man from Maury, Dakari Curtis, out of lane number 5. He'll be your opening heat winner in a 7:44. Very solid time to start us off. We mentioned a lot of the events you do, like the long jump and the sprints. Do you hurdle much, Jaden?
I hurdled last year, but not really too much anymore.
So you kind of found your sweet spot more so as a sophomore through the jumps and the sprints?
Yeah.
Talk about some of your biggest career accomplishments thus far that have gotten you to this point where you're at now.
So last year, or freshman year, I was a freshman and I won Adidas Nationals. I feel like that really helped me gain the confidence to, be a jumper on a higher level. Last month, I won the North Texas Showcase, jumping 23.5, so that really helped me just really elevate and really realize that this is where I'm supposed to be, and the competition is where I belong.
I believe you're U.S. number 4 for the junior class,
Yes,
right?
sir.
That's what Vance was telling me beforehand. Of course, you've got plenty of upside still with over a year left in your high school career, but what are some of your long-term goals, perhaps, in this sport now that you've gotten on this track?
So first and foremost, I obviously want to go D1. That's been a dream of mine for a long time. I also want to try to compete in U20s next year, or this upcoming year for Panama or the U.S. team if I can make it. So, yeah, that would be pretty good.
Awesome stuff there. Again, we're talking with Jaden Jones of Archbishop Carroll. We've got our second heat of boys seeded 55-meter hurdle prelims getting ready to go in lane number 1. Eddie Mann of Willow Spring. His teammate Joshua Cooper, one that I'm looking forward to watching in the 500 today. Eddie wants to make himself part of that premier conversation. Sean Lazenby of Bloomfield, Connecticut, he's in 2. Joey Loader of Glenvar in 3. Robert Miller from Hydel, one of the top Jamaicans in the building. He is the Jamaican under-20 400 hurdles national champion. Look out for him in 4. Avery Gamble of McKinley Tech in 7, and then Paul Gatambo of J.R. Tucker in 8. A field of 6 in heat number 2. And there goes the Jamaican champ in the Hydel kit. Flipped the last hurdle, but gets through the line first. Robert Miller, 7:33. So we talked a lot about your teammate Shamar Gamble, and he's new to Archbishop Carroll this year, but what kind of difference has he really brought to your program as a new premier hurdler for you guys?
As a team, we all take Shamar as a brother. He's one of the leaders on our team. He's the team captain. So Shamar's really came in and made an immediate impact on our team, and we see him as family.
Absolutely. Vance was talking about even former teammates like Jake O'Day-Jordan that are going to be competing tomorrow in the USATF 300 meters. Even though you may be teammates for such a short amount of time, that family aspect truly does feel eternal in track and field. Can you think of an instance where you first experienced that with Carroll or in track in general?
So when I first transferred in last year, I transferred kind of late, around 2 or 3 weeks into the school year. So I feel like this brought me in and they welcomed me as a family, and we really created an instant bond. So even though I didn't know these kids for that long, we're all family now. So that's all I can really say about it.
Was it at all intimidating getting started? You know how high level